Well, here we are, my friends. I'm very excited. You're very excited. Hopefully your mum and your dad are excited, even if they don't watch professional wrestling. It is the week of the Raw Rumble. It's time to go big or go home. We got to predict the thing. Now, I am doing this a little bit too early because it's before Raw and it's before SmackDown of the week of the Rumble. If you are watching this, very sadly, the week is going to kick my tuchus. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I don't do it today, I'm not going to be able to do it at all. And I can't miss the Raw Rumble. Because if I do get things right, I'll be the happiest guy ever. And given that I think WWE will start with the Women's Rumble and end with the Men's Rumble, we also shall start with the Women's Rumble. So let's start with some of the surprises. Like, there's so many people you can argue. And in fact, we did a video the other day if you want to get into the specifics. But someone like a Jordynne Grace, do I think she's going to be in the Rumble? I absolutely do. Whereas someone like AJ Lee, I'm kind of 50-50 on it, like I would love it. And if she was going to be involved at a WrestleMania, I would do backflips. But it doesn't seem to be any smoke or any fire, which kind of sends me the other way, even more so, because recently rumors came out that Nikki Bella is back in conversations with WWE. And the Royal Rumble, I think, is a perfect time to debut somebody, or re-debut, I should say, somebody like Nikki Bella. I think she gets a hard rap. I do think, especially the Bellas work on Total Divas, which opened up the WWE to a brand new female audience, and ultimately your job is to get eyes on the prize. So sometimes I think people are too mean to her, but I love it when the legends of old come back. And because the standard is so much higher these days, I think Nikki Bella would fit in quite well. Like, there was a time when she was a bit hit and miss, but she really applied herself to the craft. She definitely got better and better, and that last title run she had before she did hurt her neck, I thought it was pretty good, so I would love to see that. So a Jordynne Grace, I'm going to say yes, she's in it. And Nikki Bella, I'm going to say yes, she's in it. And AJ Lee, I'm going to regret this, but it is predictions. I'm going to say no, she's not in it. But then you have Charlotte Flair, that's not a surprise anymore. But the reason I bring her into it, because at first I was like, she's going to be the surprise. I think it's because Becky Lynch is going to be surprised. And WWE sat down and they were like, okay, one of you is going to be a surprise and one of you isn't. And I think they've done it the right way, because Charlotte Flair has already declared for the Royal Rumble. Do not forget to declare for the Royal Rumble in 2025. You just grab a microphone and say, I want to declare for the Royal Rumble. Okay, still drives me nuts that Candice LeRae didn't say anything. And that's because I think Becky Lynch is going to be the surprise. And I think Charlotte and Becky will be number one. I think Charlotte Flair will come out at number one, and I think Becky Lynch will come out at number two, and it will be awesome, and they don't have to do anything. They can just look at each other. And because I'm an absolute member of Chaos, or a fan of Chaos, I would have a Nikki Bella or a Jordynne Grace come out at number three. Actually, I'd have Jordynne Grace come out, right? What a way to establish her. And I don't even mind if Jordynne Grace goes back to NXT after this. I really don't. I just think we should use it to showcase her and to tell everybody that watches WWE, look how great this person is. Whoop, bang, thank you very much. And away we go. I'd put Nikki Bella in at number 4, but that's overkill as well. Like, you want to space out the surprises. Otherwise, it's probably going to get too much. And to be honest, that could be, I mean, Roxanne Perez, I think, will be in the Rumble too, but I wouldn't consider that a massive surprise. In terms of the huge surprises, I'm not 100% sure if WWE is going to do any more, because if you go over the last few Rumbles, they've actually been very reserved with them to try and make a bigger impact. So people go, oh my gosh. So I would say they are the major ones. I think Jade Cargill will be in the Rumble, so I'm going to give her a yes, only because I think it's a great way to sort out whatever you're going to do with a Bianca Belair or Naomi or whoever else may be involved in that feud. I still think that Naomi attacked Jade Cargill. And I would love a moment in the Rumble, because again, side quests and mini stories and subplots, that's what makes a great Royal Rumble. I would love if Jade Cargill gets in the ring and she's looking at everyone and everyone's looking at her, then she beats the crap out of Naomi. Obviously, the commentators will oversell it as they have to do, but it will tell you instantly, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And that will be a barrel of laughs. So I'm going to draw the line under it there with surprises, which absolutely scares the shit out of me, because again, there's a lot of other people that could be in this. You could even get someone like a Michelle McCool. She was making a lot of noise. You could put a Kelly Kelly back in there. But WWE does have quite a lot of women at the moment. So it's not like that one from a few years ago where they were like, oh my gosh, ring people up. We don't have anyone. When Cameron was in the Royal Rumble. Do you remember that? I think it was 2021 when Cameron was in the Royal Rumble. And then we never saw her again from a wrestling perspective. But obviously, I hope she's doing great. I just changed my mind because I think Asuka will be in the Royal Rumble too. I think if she is ready to go, you should absolutely bring her back. And I hope she has a really, really good run. And again, I hope we set up her WrestleMania opponent during the Royal Rumble, because Asuka is someone that I just think is fantastic. One of the best wrestlers in the world. I truly, truly think that, especially a few years ago. But if we know she's going to be taking on whoever at WrestleMania, you don't mind that she doesn't win the Royal Rumble, because again, we're making sure we're telling you every little beat matters during this match. Alexa Bliss, I am less sure on now. Maybe WWE released the contract negotiations going wrong as a ploy, so we are sort of surprised, but you know what? Maybe that is. I'm going to say Alexa Bliss is in the Royal Rumble. I'm going to regret that one too, but I've said it now, so I've overdone this one hugely with surprises, but I don't mind that in the women's one. Again, I know I've talked to you about this before, please do forgive me, but if we are going to go 2 nights in 2026, and again, I would bet my hair that we will, by the way, I'm bald, in case you don't know, but haha, that's a funny joke, then I think you need to sell this one, or at least try and have this one as the best Women's Royal Rumble ever, since it was born in 2018, I believe, is that right? I think that's right, so this is the 7th one, or whatever it is. If it really comes across like, oh my gosh, that was a 5-star, wonderful match, then when you do get to 2026, you're going to have the men's on one night and the women's on the other, because of course, that's a whole reason to justify it. If they do go to a weekender, and I'm convinced that they will do, you can actually use the momentum to say it's going to be okay, because again, sometimes there's this idea that the women's one is worse than the men's. It's completely dependent on the year. We've seen it go both ways. Now, in terms of who is going to win, I think that, I guess you want to predict the Final Four. I think Becky Lynch has to get to the Final Four because she's Becky Lynch. I think Charlotte Flair has to get to the Final Four for obvious reasons. I think Bianca Belair has to get there. And if there is somebody else that you want to throw into that mix that is going to feel like a big deal, I kind of think maybe it would be somebody like, I mean, Jordynne Grace, would we go that far? You know what, I'm going to say Jordynne Grace gets the Final Four if she's in it. I'm kind of umming and ahhing between her and Asuka, to be completely honest. Maybe we can do Jordynne Grace versus Asuka at WrestleMania. I'm kind of worried that I'm going too far in the wrong direction here. But I don't think that Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch are going to have a feud for a while. I think Becky Lynch will be on Raw. I think Charlotte Flair will be on SmackDown. Basically, I think Charlotte Flair is going to win. And I think Charlotte Flair will go on to take on Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania. I think she can win. I then think Tiffany Stratton should win it back at SummerSlam. And I think it should be a feud that we really elongate in order to get Tiffany Stratton more over and to establish Charlotte as a superstar. You don't want to change the title too much this year because you don't want to get anywhere near, I don't know what number Charlotte Flair's on, but at one point it was like, oh my gosh, she's going to win more belts than John Cena did. I understand it's 2 different championships, but you don't really want the same tail, although WWE has done that before. But I don't think we get to Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. I think that will be one of the big matches of WrestleMania 42 in 2026. And again, something we could establish at that Royal Rumble in order to make people go, oh, it's amazing that we're doing Royal Rumbles on separate nights. So in order to get the most out of it, I don't know, it's difficult because if you do it at 1 and 2, do you need to do it at the very end? I just think you want the 2 people going for it that you really can believe in. And I don't think there's anybody else that could come out. Like Nia Jax is going to be wonderful in that Rumble. I don't think I'd ever believe she's going to win it just because she's had so many title opportunities later. And Liv Morgan, maybe more so. But again, if it was her versus Charlotte Flair, basically what I'm saying is I need someone at the end, if I'm right and Charlotte Flair is winning, where you can really invest all of your fun, excitement, worth, belief, suspend your disbelief, etc., that, oh my gosh, maybe the other person can win. And if Becky Lynch is in that Rumble, I don't think anybody comes close. Asuka would have a similar, no, she wouldn't. I tell it back. I love Asuka, but not even I believe WWE would do that. As you can see, I'm just convinced that Charlotte Flair is going to win this Rumble. So I'm trying to retroactively book it where, again, the last 4, we can either use it to raise somebody's stock, like we would do with the Jordynne Grace, and when we get down to the final 2, not only do you get a Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair mini match, and I would do that too, by the way, much like we did with The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, and we did it recently too with Cody and Punk, really, although the Shawn Michaels Undertaker one was more. I would let them go 5 to 8 minutes, maybe even 10, and then you get not only the jeopardy of, oh, who's going to go over, but we're essentially seeing 2 of the best women's wrestlers that WWE has ever had, and a feud that is just drowning in both layering and controversy, depending on what year you want to go to. So I will say that is the final 2, and in terms of other matches we make along the way, sure, you could have Jade Cargill in there last with Charlotte, but again, I think that you should do everything with her and Bianca. That should be their whole thing. There has been some rumors it's going to be Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, but because I think we're focusing on the SmackDown Championship here in terms of the aftermath, then yeah, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and probably Candice LeRae and Nia Jax. That should all be the Cargill stuff if she is in the Rumble, and they should all eliminate each other. Ha ha, hee hee, funny, let's go to tea. And if you do have some, I wouldn't mind Lyra Valkyria throwing out Becky Lynch, you know, or Becky Lynch throwing out Lyra Valkyria, but you could do that before you get to the end. So I would have Becky Lynch throw out Lyra Valkyria because I would really love Becky Lynch to put herself in the Intercontinental title picture because she has the past feud with Lyra Valkyria, and I just think it would tell you, oh my gosh, we're taking this Intercontinental Championship seriously, and she does have all the star power in the world, and she doesn't need to fight for the World Championship right now because you don't want to go back to the Rhea Ripley feud too early because we only did it like a year ago, and again, point, she's not going on SmackDown as far as I've decided. I could be completely wrong, of course. So, yes, I can't think of anything else that we're probably going to establish. It's a shame that the women's tag team championships have kind of faded off into the dust again. But whatever big matches we are going to do, make sure we get those subplots in there. And if an AJ Lee was in it, I mean, she could take on Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. So AJ Lee should come in and throw Becky Lynch out. I don't think we're going to see Becky Lynch, which is a shame. It would be awesome. But I do think we'll see a Roxanne Perez. And I think either Bayley throws her out or she throws Bayley out. I think WWE is going to be patient. I think we may get Roxanne Perez versus Bayley at WrestleMania. And knowing what Bayley's like, she'll probably put Roxanne Perez over. So that's something else we should get in there. And Bayley she can have the Iron Woman spot again. I wouldn't massively be against that at all. But it's going to be, I think it has the potential to be one of the best women's rumbles in a long time, especially if they have been given the edict of, man, it's time to hit some home runs. But yeah, I think it will start the show. And I think Charlotte Flair will run the gambit, which is going to annoy so many people. But I suppose you could tie it into the 1992 Royal Rumble. Although Ric Flair came in at number 3. That's like a Mandela effect, that is. People always go, he came in at 1 or 2. He came in at 3, all right? It still counts. Like, it's when people come in at 2, it's the same as 1. You both start the Royal Rumble, but these people get such a hard rap. But that's my other big prediction that I'll make. I think Charlotte Flair goes all of the way, and it's dangerous, but if she's coming back as a heel, I don't necessarily think it matters as well, if that makes sense. Either way, I'm going with Charlotte Flair. That's my pick. And again, hopefully a bunch of laughs and fun along the way. Let's not have any lulls in the middle of the Royal Rumble. It was better last year. Let's always be telling us, the fans, this is what we're going to do at WrestleMania. This is what we're going to do at the Elimination Chamber. This is the person that attacked Jade Cargill. You know, there's so many things that we can work out here. You could even do something fun with Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. Not entirely sure if Raquel Rodriguez is in it. It sounded like Liv Morgan declared on her behalf, but Raquel did not say it into the microphone specifically. So what do you do with Liv Morgan? And Liv Morgan could go after the US Championship, but actually now I've said that, I think we should get something between Chelsea Green and Piper Niven too. In fact, Piper Niven should throw out Chelsea Green. I'm going to throw that one in there as well because I want to see that match at WrestleMania. Then maybe coming out of WrestleMania, Liv Morgan can be the person to take on Piper Niven, which would make all the sense in the world because Piper Niven should be a babyface by that point. That's pretty hard because Chelsea Green is a pretty good babyface. But Piper Niven could beat Chelsea Green for the US title, and Piper Niven, I think, would deserve that, even though it never makes any sense. But that is how I feel about the situation. Either way, I'm doubling down on Charlotte. Comments are down there. Let me know your winner. Look into my face. I am not confident at all. Now, I'm sure we're going to get a bunch more matches. The only reason I was confident to do the predictions today is because last year we only did 4 matches. And if you are going to have sort of an hour and a half Royal Rumble times 2, WWE likes to condense their pay-per-views. I'm a big fan of that these years. So I think we could probably do 4. But we are getting DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns. 2 out of 3 falls for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. I'm not going to say this could steal the show, because when you have the Rumbles on the Royal Rumble show, it's next to impossible. But I think this is going to be excellent. Regardless who wins or loses, I think this is going to really help the SmackDown Tag Team division, and I really hope that's the plan as well. I hope Triple H has looked at 2024, been like, it didn't really click in the way we wanted it to, so let's start 2025 off with a bang. I don't think you need to take it off DIY at the moment. I do think you can evolve Pretty Deadly, and while that's shenanigans and dumbness and silliness and way too WWE, I think right now the key and the plan has to be to get more teams over so we could believe that anybody could win. You could have the Street Profits come back here to stop Pretty Deadly. I'm not saying it has to lead directly to the finish, but I'd involve Pretty Deadly, I'd involve Los Garzas, and if Street Profits are good to go, I would involve them too. And I get you're like, oh, Simon, that sounds terrible. I just want to bang a 2 out of 3 falls match. Once again, maybe it can cost them one of the falls early on, but I think they have to be involved just to tell you, watch SmackDown. Each one of these teams is important. Each one of these teams could win the tag team championships, and I think DIY will win the first fall, probably because of Pretty Deadly. Then one of these teams comes out to chase Pretty Deadly away. The Motor City Machine Guns will then win the second fall with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. And then the third one is when they will absolutely unleash. And I think we'll get 5 to 10 minutes of absolute magic. Because DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa are great. We all know that Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin have been getting better and better. And they were brilliant the day they walked in the door. But of course, you have to acclimatize yourself to a new audience. I just don't think you need to change the belts back yet. I don't mind us changing the titles. I think if you are going to hot potato any belts, it should be ones like the Tag Team Championships in order to get people excited about them again. But I just think at the moment, putting them back on the Motor City Machine Guns, it kind of makes the DIY heel turn look a bit ridiculous. So they turned heel and they couldn't even defend the belts properly on the first big show. I don't think you need to do that, whereas they can absolutely cheat and Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin can have the sympathy. But I'm just super excited about this, and I hope we do keep it to 4 matches and we give this 25 minutes. I mean, that may sound insane, maybe 20 minutes, right? But But I just think the longer you give them and the more you allow them to do this, there is a net positive to it. Not even about who wins and who loses. Again, going through the rest of the year, really trying to get these belts back up to where they were, because they did have a crap 2024. Not a crap one, just a disappointing one. It was so good going into WrestleMania. Then we split up the belts and I never really felt we got back to where we needed to be. And sometimes I even forgot who the championships were. That is not the deal on SmackDown. I'm hoping we do the same retcon job on Raw, but of course we're talking about these. DIY win, winning the last fall, going up 2-1. And yeah, during the first fall is where we can get all the shenanigans out, which then builds your story to SmackDown. But it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. And if you've never seen these guys before, if this is the first WWE show you ever watch, which could be the case because it is on Netflix everywhere but the USA, or I'm sure some countries don't have it, but the majority of countries, you can just tune on Netflix. I think it'll make a lot of people go, wow, professional wrestling is so flipping cool. And we are getting the amazing ladder match, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for all the WWE championships. I would love to sit here and tell you my wonderful plan, which is Kevin Owens is going to win the belt, because at WrestleMania 41, we're going to do Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, where Sami Zayn wins the title, because we're also doing John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, and that doesn't need a championship because it's John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. That doesn't hold up. It does need the title, because if John Cena's going after number 17 and his first hurdle, his first obstacle after Cena wins the Elimination Chamber, spoiler, is going to be Cody Rhodes, if he doesn't have the belt and you just do that, well, either of them can win. You're like, okay, there's no stakes. There's no jeopardy. Whereas if Cody Rhodes has the championship and John Cena has gone, man, I didn't win the Royal Rumble, but damn it, I do want to become number 17. I want that record to you, fans, because I'm in love with you all. It has to have that belt on the line, because then you're like, who do I support? I love you, Cody Rhodes, but John Cena, I want to see you set a record. It makes it into a real main event, for lack of a better term, especially at WrestleMania. So this is my roundabout way of telling you I don't think Kevin Owens is going to win. It makes me happy and sad, because I'm a fan of both of these people, not even watching it heel versus face, just watching them like, yay, I'm so happy they're doing this. I also think, I could get this number wrong, it's even seven or nine, but Kevin Owens has now fought for the world title Royal Rumble, again, even 7 or 9 times. That's a record. I think it was him, The Miz, and Roman Reigns. Now, Kevin Owens' WrestleMania is the Royal Rumble, and I think his success rate is terrible. I don't think he's ever won it at Royal Rumble, which is such a shame. But look, both belts hanging from the sky. I would imagine we're going to update the title a little bit. That's why we're doing this. I think Cody Rhodes has to win, overcome adversity and all of that. I don't mind if we do a mini title change, but I think Cody's going into WrestleMania with the championship, but I don't think we're going to do it. Sami Zayn could certainly get involved as a ruse, but actually help Cody over Kevin, which will start their feud, which we've clearly teased. Although Randy Orton could also come back. In fact, I do think you'll see Randy Orton during this, because I do think that will actually be Kevin Owens' WrestleMania match, him versus Randy Orton. If you kill someone with a power drive and he's off TV for 2.5 months, that should be the WrestleMania match. So yes, I think one point, as I struggle to speak, Kevin Owens will be climbing the ladder, then Randy Orton comes in and RKOs him off the ladder. I think that's probably a guarantee in my world, because it just makes Kevin Owens even more unhinged, and then Randy can be like, oh, totally justified, you tried to kill me, I have a family, man, and then they can just, spin off that without, because otherwise, why would Kevin Owens not go after Cody Rhodes again? He's meant to be totally bonkers. He's not going to go, oh, well, by the rules of wrestling, I can't do it. But if he was more mad at Randy Orton, it's a perfect side quest for him to do. But I do think this is going to be great. At the moment, I think it's been 3 years since the Sammy Guevara Cody Rhodes cutter off the top of the ladder, which is the most perfect top of the ladder cutter I've ever seen in my life. Kevin Owens would have seen that. Cody Rhodes would have seen that. Cody Rhodes does everything for the love of the game. I think there's going to be one crazy major spot. It wouldn't be a cutter, I don't think, although it could be. Maybe actually probably will be. It'll probably be a Cody cutter, but this time rather than Cody taking it, it'll be Cody giving it, and Kevin Owens is wonderfully batshit crazy anyway, so he will take it. But I think this is going to be absolutely brilliant. I think they will know this is probably the last match they're going to have of this feud, so it's really time to go all in, ironically saying that word. Cody Rhodes will win. Randy Orton will get involved. Sami Zayn will certainly do something. Sami Zayn, I don't know, I'll talk about that in 1 second, but I think Kevin Owens could cause a ruckus in the Royal Rumble for something like a Randy Orton or a Sami Zayn. But I'm going with Cody Rhodes to win. And given that I do think it will go women's tag championship ladder match and then Royal Rumble, there could be another match, of course, but again, I don't know. I'm doing this way too early. I think, we'll head into that Royal Rumble after seeing that ladder match being like, man, this is one banger of a pay-per-view. I just think on paper it looks great, but I'm picking Cody. Which brings us to the men's Royal Rumble. It's both really hard to predict and also not hard to predict at all, depending how much you will believe. I am going with CM Punk to win the men's Royal Rumble. I just think he's never won a Royal Rumble. It's probably his last opportunity to win a Royal Rumble. I think we are going full steam ahead with him main eventing the Saturday night of WrestleMania, and the best way to make that that Saturday night feel like a proper main event. I think it's a proper main event, but there's still this idea out there that if you do Saturday, it's not the real main event. It's poppycock, man. I find that disrespectful. But somebody win the Royal Rumble and then going on to main event the Saturday, which I don't think has happened before, I think would do him the world of good. And arguably, he's the most over babyface they have right now, or at least his momentum is steering him in that direction. And I think he should be fighting for the world title. I think if you look at everything and the lay of the land at the moment, it'd be weirder not to do that. But it all depends on all the other things that we need to get there. Now, I think the final two will be him and John Cena. I do not think in this year there is ever going to be an opening to do him versus Cena. I hope I'm wrong drastically. But much like we talked about with the Becky Lynch stuff, no idea balancing these two things out because I think it makes sense. But I think those two will be going at it. And also, finally, maybe Roman Reigns, right? It could be a Roman Reigns and two. I think Roman Reigns, John Cena, and CM Punk will be the final three. And the reason I'm leaning on that is you would watch it going, even I would watch it going, oh, I'm so convinced it's going to be CM Punk. But if you get down to those two and be like, I don't know. I have no idea who it's going to be. Because do not forget, the tribal chief version of Roman Reigns, I could be wrong, I don't think I am, has never entered a Royal Rumble. He held that championship for too long. There was never a reason for him to enter the Royal Rumble. The big dog sucks in Royal Rumbles, like the old Roman Reigns. He won one of them. But the booing and the controversy, so he's going to have a chip on his shoulder too. But, dwindling it down to those three, I just think makes it one of the best endings to a Royal Rumble ever. And you could even turn that into a triple threat match. The difficulty is, who the hell throws out who? I think CM Punk could throw out Roman Reigns, and I think Roman Reigns could actually win the world title in the interim, and that could be his opponent at WrestleMania 41, night 1. And you could tie the Paul Heyman thing into it as well. But there you go, there's a flip side as I contradict myself. If Punk does get thrown out by Roman Reigns, you have Roman Reigns win the Royal Rumble. That makes it my other planning quite difficult. Maybe CM Punk goes to Paul Heyman and says, bro, you owe me a favor, and I need that WrestleMania main event spot, and that's when we also get to CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. So you could do that too, hence why it's a great Royal Rumble. John Cena is so hard, because if Punk throws out John Cena, everyone's going to want that match. If Roman Reigns throws out John Cena, everybody will want that match, even though it's been done to death in many ways. So you need to tiptoe around that, and you need to come up with a really good spot. But I've said it now, I will go with CM Punk, and yes, I think Randy Orton will be a surprise in the Rumble, unless we announce him on SmackDown, which we could do. I think Kevin Owens will come out and screw him over. It'll be that classic, even though you're not in the Rumble, you throw a man to the floor, and it's perfectly fine, but please never change it because I love it. And I also think you could potentially throw out Sami Zayn as well, although depends what Drew McIntyre is doing, because Drew McIntyre could win this Royal Rumble. I just don't think he's going to be in the main event because there's no room for him right now. But whoever throws out Drew, or whoever Drew throws out, I think they've already announced Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn for tonight's Raw, the 27th of January, 2025. So you don't want to do that match again because we have done it a lot. So do you do like a triple threat or something? Like, it's so confusing where Drew falls into this. Because Kevin Owens, what I'm saying is, could throw out Randy Orton, but he could also throw out Sami Zayn. Again, just go ultimate Dr. Robotnik and cause all of the chaos, because you could do Randy versus Kevin versus Sami Zayn. That's probably not as good, because I think Kevin versus Randy sells itself, and I think a singles match would be stronger. But it certainly is on the table, and we haven't even talked about the surprises, which I've got written down over there. Do I think Big E's going to be in it? No. I think while it would be a great moment, there's just no room for him at the moment in terms of what you would do going forward, because the New Day haven't done much of anything, which is a shame. I don't think Matt Cardona is going to be in it, just by recent chats, which is a shame. I have Repo Man written down over there. I'm going to go with a no. AJ Styles and Malachi Black and Ricky Starks, I think, are all no's as well, which begs the question, who the hell are going to be the surprises? But this one, well, no Rock either. I'm not going with that. I think Joe Hendry will be the big surprise in the Men's Royal Rumble, and I think it's going to be wonderful. I think it's going to be great. I think he's doing a signing in Indianapolis like that weekend. I could be wrong. I think I saw that, so that's probably a nice wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You should get involved. You should get involved with this. But I think you don't actually need that many surprises. I love surprises, right? Surprises are my favorite thing in the Royal Rumble. I would have 15 slots for surprises if I could. But if you do have Roman Reigns, CM Punk, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, who we haven't even discussed, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens doing a bunch of nut stuff, you don't need too much surprises, because whoever comes out, like if you come out at number 15 is a massive surprise. It's fine with Joe, because Joe is over in his own special way. But let's say, we're not on AJ Styles either. You know what I'm saying though? If a random surprise did come out at number 14, then Roman comes out at 15, this current fan base is going to be like, yeah, we don't care about you, surprise. We don't care about Roman Reigns because we love this guy. There's probably somebody that I'm not thinking about, but I think the one that I'm happy to predict is Joe Hendry. I think we should do it. I think that's the reason we held off him winning the TNA Championship, because somebody, both between WWE and TNA, probably went, well, if we wait until sort of early January, he'll have his momentum back, because wrestling always goes like this. It has to. Otherwise, it doesn't work, and that has been the case, and now he can roll on to the Royal Rumble. And also, it works for marketing. Oh my gosh, it's the TNA World Champion, Joe Hendry. it just sells everybody, right? And maybe he does something in NXT. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe we don't see him again. It doesn't matter. He is going to be in the company properly at one point. And it's just a great way to underline the TNA WWE/NXT relationship is alive and well. I do think this has the potential to be one of the best Royal Rumbles ever. I think it's going to be awesome. Like I said, I think Kevin Owens will get involved. It needs that because there hasn't been much shenaniganery or chicanery. I know what I'm trying to say here, but we've lacked a little bit of ridiculous over the last few years. So I would like it. You know what? Maybe Matt Cardona could be in it. It's so hard. I'm going to say no. But that one, I'm umming and ahhing. And I really do hope I see AJ Styles because it sounds like his injury sucked and I'd just like to see it. And again, he can do something with Carmelo Hayes. If he comes and he can check out Carmelo, and then that can be the thing that we set up for WrestleMania, which would be really cool. And you could do something with, Sheamus could throw out Bron Breakker to sort of establish that we are going to go back to that and Sheamus wins at WrestleMania. I don't have a problem with that. And I think surely it's going to be LA Knight, Shinsuke Nakamura, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. I think they will all be involved in throwing the other one out because then before WrestleMania, we can do LA Knight winning his championship back. And then I've already decided at WrestleMania, we have to give the US title to Jacob Fatu if that is the direction that we do want to go in. Solo Sikoa will be a surprise. I mean, he hasn't declared. I don't think he's declared. I could be wrong. I'll call him a surprise. And it's massively interesting who he throws out. If he throws out Roman, I don't think he will do. We could do Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa at WrestleMania as well. And Jacob Fatu is like, he didn't say anything, you jabron. I'm throwing you out there. Solo Sikoa is a really interesting dude. Not sure where he fits in at the moment in a good way. I really, really like Solo Sikoa. But either way, I'm rambling on here. And again, make sure you go in the comments below and subscribe and notifications and all of that. I am going to go with CM Punk. I need a final four. There's not the final three. Who the hell is the fourth guy? I don't know. But I am going to go, obviously, CM Punk, John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Solo Sikoa, I'm going to say. I'm not saying that. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre. I'm going to say Drew McIntyre is in the final four because even if someone like Roman Reigns throws out Drew McIntyre, you don't have to do that match at WrestleMania. You can put that anywhere else and it would be considered a massive deal. So I'm going to say that Drew McIntyre will be in the final four. And if anybody's earned it, especially because that adds even more credence to this, because you had the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud. So yeah, that's my final four. Seth will be gone, which is a shame. He could be in that too. But I've made up my mind now because I'm rambling. Like I say, I'm going Cena, Roman, Drew, CM Punk. CM Punk wins. And yet, I am predicting CM Punk versus Roman Reigns and John Cena versus Cody Rhodes as our WrestleMania main events because I think on paper they're our best ones. I don't care how Roman Reigns wins that belt off Gunther. I've done another video where I've talked about this. Just do it, man. Have all the fun in the world. Wrestling is meant to be entertaining, and these are the matches that I want to see. It also begs the question, who the flub is Gunther facing at WrestleMania? Probably Goldberg. Do I think Goldberg's going to be in this? Yes, I do. I think Goldberg is going to be a surprise in the Royal Rumble. Oof, thank goodness I remembered that. And you could have Gunther come out and cause an absolute nightmare too. Or it could be Ludwig Kaiser. It'd be Ludwig Kaiser. There you go. Ludwig Kaiser. He's not going to throw him out, but there'll be some kind of beef, and that leads him into Gunther. That is a random surprise I've just thrown out there, but I've done it now. CM Punk wins. Goldberg is in. What are you going to do? Now, that was a lot of waffle. And again, if they do announce more matches, I'll just drop a comment below so you'll be able to see them. But more importantly, please do let me know your predictions because I love doing these videos. They're the most fun. Drop me a comment below. Click the video on the screen, which will be me guessing the surprises in a bit more detail because I know everyone loves talking about that the most. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, like I say. Grillermind.com/Simon. You can Simon get 10% off. There's links for all of this in the description down there. These are fitness supplements that I pimp out to you. New gym, fitness, YouTube starts soon. They're sponsoring the whole thing, so thank you very much. Come follow me on all social media at Simon316. Doing loads on TikTok right now, so make sure you follow me there. Cameo Simon Miller, ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller. But the Royal Rumble is the best time of the year. Enjoy it as much as you can, my friends, and I will see you soon.